Mele Kaliki Maka, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here. And you know who this guy is here? Santa Claus. He's Saturn, of course. Isn't it strange that the worst time of the year seems to be the coziest and the most giving and helpful? Originally, you know, Santa was a shaman. Comes from the Nordic, where he would come in through the rooftop door on your hut because you're snowed in. In the middle of winter, he was your family doctor, and he'd come in with a bag of these big round orange things were mushrooms that grew underneath the local conifers, and were good food, and had a little psilocybin in them too to help you put up with cabin fever. So he'd come in the rooftop, ho ho ho. You had to hang those big round orange things on the mantle above the fire because they had to be dried out before they were useful. Yep, that's the truth about this old guy. Well, the truth for us is Saturn, Santa, Saturday is named after him, has two sides, like all the planetary spirits we have met. He can be the Grim Reaper, or he can be Santa Claus. Astrologers. See, I can use the word, huh? It's like a black man saying nigger, nigger. A communist saying, yes, hell, you know, communism, socialism. In the South now, they got a law in Florida that says you're not got to use the word global warming. They're trying to switch, you know. So all my life I've been thinking of these guys as wise men. When I was 10 and going to Sunday school, I played the wise man in the, no, they were astrologers. They had a very high technology. There were three of them from the three great capitals of the world. They had agreed upon the time and the place, and they had a lot of money. Yeah, so after they saved Jesus, after they found him and saved him, they bankrolled his education in Alexandria, which was just a day's walk almost from where Jesus was hanging out. So he was trained in astrology too. After all, these were astrologers, and they had just found one of the highest beings to incarnate. And just like the Buddhists go around searching for the last incarnation of Rinpoche and things, and they find them. Anyway, these guys were doing something similar, and they had money, and they were professional astrologers. Not wise men, no, not magi, astrologers. Astrology. They're trying so hard to bury the word, you know. All the books now, oh, they were astronomers and mathematicians. Boo. Astrologers. Well, as you can see, I have an alternative view of the holidays. Furthermore, it's really a holiday about the stationing of the sun as it goes back and forth. It's called a solstice, and the winter solstice is really the 21st, 22nd. But what happens is when the sun stops, Father in the sky, you know, it's like he's stopped going this way and he's got to go the other way, and it's, you know, he's busy. So everybody seems in the ancient world to allow him to start coming back. Now, astronomers will tell you, oh, well, it's the 25th because that's when you could see the sun moving. Well, you know, everybody knew it was when the solstice was, but for some reason they wanted Father to, you know, that's the sun to you, folks out there. They wanted Father to be on the train going back and not in a stationing, stopping and changing mood. And Father was much more approachable then, so most of the ancient cultures did their solstice holidays around the 24th, 25th. Your calendar kind of moves back and forth, a day every 4 years. Too bad we're not on a Mayan calendar. Anyway, this is program 1046. We're going to cover the week before Christmas. And all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even the mouse. I got a nice little mouse I trapped live the other day. My 2 cats just look at him and sniff and walk off. But he's in a little cage out in the porch now. He didn't stir very much either. Well, let's see what it's like for you, huh? The sky mirror is a day-by-day kind of a thing, and it's meant so that you can get a quick look at the coming 10 days and the next 2 weekends and do some planning. I mean, that's what it's all about, is using astrology to plan ahead. Here's a note to myself before I start the day-by-day. From last show, 1045, I didn't quite finish. More about Saturn, okay? And what happens is, as he moves forward, he goes by there once, and he warns you. And then he goes backwards over it, and twice warning. Third time, look out. So Saturn's doing that in the USA chart. It's in the 7th house of partners and open enemies. And we're learning who the first pass of Saturn is moving up on us and coming back in, by the way, August. So you want to find out who the Saturn problem is? Is it going to be your wife? Is it going to be your business partner? Your best friend? Your dog? Somebody close to the USA government? A partner going to turn against us? There could be a divorce. There's a lot of countries that are upset about our lack of movement on global warming, seeing as we caused it. Yes, we did. A little help from England and Europe and Germany, Japan, all started puffing away and injuring our air and our environment as it led right up to the, Second World War. Anyway, enough on history. Saturn loves history. You learn from your history. That's what the old goat is all about. And in this case, Saturn's moving up, and we're getting the first steps in who the government is going to focus on as the next evil empire. Is it going to be Russia? Is it going to be China? Is it going to be the Philippines? Is it going to be Mexico? Who's it going to be? Well, we're about to find out, because we had a new moon covering the month of December that said, hey, confusion, delusion, problems here with Neptune, and then there's a full moon in the middle of December, that you just already had, right on the U.S. Mars. And during this time, major progressions are going on, and Saturn's moving up to hit and oppose Mars, and we're going to have people arguing with us, and they may not like us if we're out there with guns and doing violence and being selfish and self-centered. That's Mars. USA has Mars in the first chart. The USA government. It's, anyway, so where you're at right now, the last 2 weeks of December have the overlapping new moon and the overlapping full moon both shouting in the USA government chart, look out, here's somebody over here is ticked off at you, and there's trouble with other people, and yes, and this is the beginning of it that will then come back with major happenings in August 2017. And there's Saturn. And maybe I better explain this again. Wait, let me go. Let's do the sky mirror. Come on. What's going on for you? I mean, all that stuff is very interesting, but you've got a life to live. So do I. And this is the generic chart of everybody. Here's Jupiter opposing Uranus. Lawyers and professors are going to try to shut up astrologers and science and technicians. How can a professor, argue with a scientist? How could a lawyer argue with with the media. You know, Uranus. Here's Ben Franklin. By golly, what did he say? We hold these truths to be self-evident. That was Ben, by the way, who corrected, was it Jefferson who was writing the thing? And they took out a bunch of religious stuff, and these are Ben's words. These truths to be self-evident. That's Uranus. Okay, they're self-evident. You don't got to read them out of a book or a Bible or any of that. Benjamin Franklin, planting a seed. Yes. So he's Uranus. And there are other people out there that are going to, probably you're going to see them standing up a lot and saying, hey, you know, rich people, that could be Jupiter, and they're lawyers, you know, trying to stop the publishing on the media about, what, global warming? Could be. The issue's not going away. Can't stop it by making a law saying you can't say the word Florida or North Carolina. Stop, Frost, you're ranting. Okay. Sorry, I'm an old environmentalist. Can't stop. If you're on a Thursday show, on December 15th, the moon is in Cancer. And as you go into Friday, the moon shifts into Leo, a fixed fire sign here. And Friday kind of increasingly becomes more difficult to get peace and quiet and rest. And the moon is opposing Venus. Venus is in Aquarius, and she's acting really independent and doing her own thing. And can't somebody shut up those girls? That's Friday night for you, December 16th. Saturday, it gets better. On the 17th, we've got a trine to Uranus, and science, and Ben Franklin, and the environmentalists, and Woodstock hippies. They're not millennials. Millennials weren't born until after Woodstock. We call them yuppies. Yup, yup, yup. So these are hardcore. Uranus, once you're self-evident and independent and free, they can't change you back. And that's who Uranus is here. So they start the whole ball rolling Saturday afternoon or so on the 17th. And then along comes Saturn, the judge, and the management, and the old guys. And they say, yep, there's something to what he says. We better start working on global. And then finally comes Jupiter. And all this happens pretty sharp. It's all at 20 degrees. Noticeable, Uranus is at 20 degrees. Jupiter is at 20 degrees. Saturn is at 20 degrees. Air and fire signs at 20 degrees. Yeah, you got anything there in your chart around 20 degrees, air and fire signs, and you're going to have wonderful new things fall in your lap here Saturday. So there's the markers, Saturday afternoon and into the evening, and it continues through Monday morning as long as the moon is still in Leo. But here, closing in on noontime, the moon shifts into Virgo, and at the time it does that, there's an opposition to Mars. Oh boy, Mars is finishing up Aquarius. If he's gone into Virgo at this, or gone into Pisces, he becomes a little religious fanatic kind of person. But here's anger. Yeah, I don't know why exactly, but it's there on Sunday at breakfast to lunch. And don't go so fast. Slow down. Smell the flowers. By Sunday night, the moon in Virgo clicks in. There's the conjunction to the North Node, and everybody wants to help a little bit after dinner. There's a lot of nurturing going on. But don't relax too far, because here, 2 a.m. in the morning, Monday, the 19th, here's the opposition to Neptune. Too much music. You know, too much. Religious people knocking on my door Monday morning. No. Why can't the three wise men really be astrologers? Why can't you call them by their true name? Who's the fishy one here? Priest, artist, doctors. Is it FDA, EPA? Dreadful Neptune people pretending they can do things they can't. Snake oil salesmen. Oops, stop, Frost, you're ranting again. Sorry. On Christmas Day, the transiting sun hits my Venus, my ruler. So I love Christmas. My youth was full of wonderful Christmas holidays. Yeah. Anyway, that's for Sunday. A lot of nurturing going on. The 18th. Nice day, huh? But don't stay up late, because Neptune comes in. You'll have trouble with liquids. And don't drink on Sunday the 18th. Or Monday you're going to have the whirlies and feel ill and sick because the moon's opposing Neptune on the 19th. It gets a lot better. The middle of Virgo has a trine to Pluto and Mercury, and here it is in the middle of Monday, and Monday evening and Monday night is Discovery, the trine to Pluto. Monday in the middle of the day is for the kids and communication. Yeah, and actually Mercury is slowing down to stop. It goes retrograde. Wait a minute, I didn't mark it. Hold on. Okay. Astrologers make mistakes too, you know, just like scientists. I just remembered a poem about Saturn. Here he is. A feeling of sadness and a longing that's not akin to pain, and resembles sorrow only as the mist resembles the rain. That's the feeling of Saturn. I'm kind of like this boy you see in the picture, I think. I identify with that. It's cold in this incarnation. Haha, the notes on the ephemeris were worn out at the bottom of the page. So I had to use a computer. Here it is. Mercury goes retrograde on the 19th. It's at 55 minutes after midnight, so it's the early morning of the 19th. That's Monday. That's where we left off, right? Amazing. My little voice told me, something wrong, you better check that. And sure enough, there it was. And I also made a note here about these two lunations. The new moon, which opposes the USA government. It seems like everybody's in our face for a month. That happened November 29th. So it goes through until New Year's. And the vibes are everybody's in our face and they're against us and we're taking all this criticism and nobody helps us and blah, you know. It happens to everybody in your own chart too. You get a new moon oppose your rising sign. So that's the feeling. And then here, the full moon on December 14th, which you just had, you're probably still just coming out of it. That one at 22 Gemini is right on the USA government Mars. So when a full moon goes off on your Mars, your heroics are exaggerated emotionally. They're in lunacy. You know, the military, the the heat, the sharps, the hots, the fires. Oh boy. So we got a full moon on a Mars in the USA government, and it's become very protective of itself. Overprotective, like lunacy. We're going to have the airports all covered in special forces or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. All I know is it's lunacy, and it goes from the middle of December until the middle of January. So these guys overlap. They overlap the last 2 weeks in December. Oh, that's where you're at. Okay, now the lesson of old Saturn is... this is just, if you're smart, you can, who is this Saturn? Who's going to give us trouble? Well, you're going to get some warning here next couple of weeks. You maybe already know something about, there'll be a lot of people, you know, in the new moon opposing the U.S. government. A lot of people opposing it. A lot of people criticizing. Especially after they've seen the chaos of this election. Stop ranting, Frost. Get on with the job. Okay, here we are. We were doing Moon in Virgo, which started Sunday morning, you know, just before lunch, and got changed. And Sunday night, here's the moon going by the North Node, and that feels pretty good. There's a lot of nurturing Sunday night. Everybody's nurturing people. And then here's the confusion of Neptune. Here's too much music, too much alcohol, too much drugs, problems with liquids. It's actually early Monday morning at 2 a.m. is this line in Hawaii. That's midnight on the West Coast. So, you wouldn't want to drink Sunday night on the 18th. Don't start celebrating then, because you might be sorry. Now on Monday morning, the 19th, Mercury's already gone retrograde, and here's the moon trining it. You try to take packages down and mail them off on the 19th with Mercury retrograde. Now, I hope you took care of it before now. Once Mercury goes retrograde early in the morning here, and interesting, it's right on Pluto. There's going to be revolutionary words, new discoveries. A lot of people will be saying things in powerful Plutonian ways with exclamations. You find yourself saying S-H-I-T or some when I first went to Berkeley in the early 60s, it was the dirty word movement. It's all about words. So here's some knowledge about words, and it's coming up for you Monday in the middle of the day into the afternoon. Listen up, new discoveries. Now after this, for about 3 weeks, a lot of the deliveries and the communications you might want to do, about half of them you'll have to go back and do again. It's a good time to clean out the old stuff and get ready for renewed deals. Of course, if you're in sales, this period following, this 3 weeks following December 19th is great, because you go someplace, there's a 50-50 chance you'll go back there again. And if you're buying Christmas presents, make sure you got return, you know what the returns are like, and there'll be a lot of returns after December 19th. On the 20th, the moon is still in Virgo, and here's the square to Saturn. Here's the Grinch is loose. It's Scrooge. Everybody feels like they don't have enough, and it's cold and it's dry as the moon squares Saturn from Virgo. So it's a tough day on Tuesday the 20th. And after dinner, here's the moon squaring the sun. So you didn't get anything done. You got stuck and delayed and, blocked and difficulties. And that's okay. Moon goes into Libra after in the mid-afternoon of Tuesday the 20th. And things will change. Maybe you got more balance in your life as you go into Wednesday the 21st. This is a mixed bag. When you look at what's going on here, the moon in the last part of Libra hits Jupiter, so you get increasingly clown-like and laughing and spending money, and expanding is what Thursday's all about. It starts with difficulties, though, with, who is that? Pluto, Saturn, Venus. Well, there's the opposition to Uranus is a big deal. It all happens at 20 degrees. It's going to be sharp. They'll all pile up together. When is that? That's right here. Now, just because you feel like telling the truth and expanding out and getting all the, I want it all, says the lawyer. And to heck with the homeless guy or the strikes or the, you mean they're going on strike just before Christmas? Get a lawyer. So if you try to be the lawyer, you could have trouble. But Saturn comes in after all the expansion and the chaos, and almost Venus started it here late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. I had Venus and, oh yeah, here's sweets, goodies, sex, beautiful things, sparklies, and then Pluto comes in and square. Eek, there's an emergency, and then we try to do too much, spend a lot of money as you go into the breakfast to lunch period on Thursday, and finally things settle out with Saturn, hopefully, and you got your ducks in line, and the timeline and the money is set, and you feel a little better by the time you get to Thursday night. If you did your due diligence and you kept being responsible, Ben Franklin would say, saving money, you saved enough, you got just enough. So I figure Lono was Saturn in Hawaiian lore, because he went around at this time to collect taxes, and what was left over, they had a big party. If the government collected more taxes than it needed, they'd only take what they needed, and they'd kick back, and they'd have big feasts and stuff through the winter months. And so hopefully Scrooge turned into Santa Claus here for you on Thursday night. Friday, the moon goes into Scorpio on the 23rd. It all changes. You're in for a delightful morning with sextiles to the sun, trines to Mars. Dad's out there getting the job done. Brothers are helping. It's physical. Trim the trees. Do the physical stuff. Be heroes. Heroes. Lots of heroes out Friday morning. Do the physical work. Here's a Neptune sextile Friday night. This is late. This is 10, 11 o'clock. Music, religion, art. Not a creature was stirring. I'm going to keep that little mouse in a cage and feed him up good for Christmas. Here's Mercury in the morning. Saturday morning, the 24th, and there's a nice... The kids are all happy. Happy, happy. It's very nice. Yeah. No problems, really, until you get to Saturday night late. Now, this is Christmas Eve. Here's the moon squaring Venus. I ran out of sugar. Oh, excuse me, I wasn't watching the screen. My camera work. I'll get better. I'm looking at the chart here, not the screen. See, the screen's over there, 4 feet. Well, Pluto's happy, and Mercury's happy. Saturday morning, there's discovery and power, and I got a new bicycle, a beautiful little red bicycle. Christmas Eve, I'll never forget. Of course, the tradition is you wake up Sunday morning on the 25th and open presents. Well, a lot of people, if I were you, I would be doing that Saturday morning. Yeah. Just fake it a day. Say it's due to the leap year every 4 years, and your Christmas Eve is really Friday the 23rd, and Christmas morning is the 24th, and open those presents in the morning and have fun. Time you get to 10, 11 o'clock Saturday night, the square to Venus. I had too much sugar. I'm in low blood sugar. I'm tired, but I can't rest. A little frazzled, huh? Too bad. Well, it continues through Saturday or Sunday morning, Christmas Day. Everybody tired. Very tired from the moon squaring Venus. Too much turkey, huh? Turkey makes you really tired. So everybody gets a little angry as you go into late Sunday night, the 25th. Here's a square to Mars. And impatience and angriness. You mean I gotta go to work in the morning on the 26th? Don't want to. Ask yourself what you're protecting Sunday night, Monday morning. It's not an easy day, Monday the 26th. Here's a square to Neptune. So there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people have trouble with liquids. So you got to enjoy it. But do your planning righteously, and don't depend on this fake calendar. I can't believe we had the new moon for Halloween perfectly set up, but they had set it for the calendar, the 31st. And that was after the new moon in Scorpio, All Hallows Eve. The calendar is really the sky, That's what's important here. That's what's important.